Barbara Kruger said, architecture is one of the predominant orderings of social space, because there's this level of activation of the space that just by entering it, you've become part of it. My name is Margarita Lizcano Hernandez, and I'm a curatorial assistant in the Department of Drawing and Prints here at MoMA. Today, we are standing inside Barbara Kruger's commissioned work, Thinking of You, I Mean Me, I Mean You. This piece is made out of sticky vinyl that it's adhered to the wall and to the floor. It spans almost 3 floors. The work displays very bold and declarative long form and short form sentences. There's an incredible magnetism with the work that it pulls you in, but you kind of can't take everything in all at once. And the stark contrast between the black and white and also the just incredible size of the text really is just daunting. Bold Futura Oblique and Helvetica Ultra Compressed are sort of the 2 fonts that she uses. These slogans that she pits for us to consider and points them directly at us are not statements that necessarily are tied to one particular event or one particular occurrence. So there's a flexibility within the words to speak to us across time and across space and even culture. Also within the work, there are texts that have been written by Barbara herself, but then there are also excerpts by very prominent literary figures. In the west wall in the upper level, there's actually an excerpt by Virginia Woolf from her famed 1929 essay, A Room of One's Own. The floor is a direct quote from George Orwell. If you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever. When I first came into the work and I first realized that it was Virginia Woolf and George Orwell, I kind of thought, they don't seem to have a lot of commonalities with each other. You know, they were writing at very different times during the 20th century. They were concerned with different themes. I kind of took a step back and seeing the work as a whole and seeing the text in the space, I realized that actually they both are kind of speaking about the same thing. They're challenging ways in which we relate to each other, and they're also challenging institutions of power. But one of the quotes that resonates for me personally is actually the one that I'm standing right next to. Who is remembered and who is forgotten here in this place? And I think about that a lot. Works that are currently on the walls or were on the walls maybe 10, 15, 30 years ago, they had this aura of greatness simply because they were on the walls. And obviously there's a sense of greatness also with the scholarship and the importance of the artist's work, but who else was forgotten during that time? I think there's something about this work that makes me think, how can we create spaces for conversation within museums? What can we learn from these sentences? What can we learn from her messaging? What can we take away to not only better ourselves, but also better our communities, and to think of ways that, as dire as some of these quotes are, they make us feel vulnerable, but at the same time, there's a little bit of hope in there too.